Hello, my name is Morgan and I'm going to be cooking pasta while discussing my thoughts and feelings on Liverpool. Yeah. Okay, so I'm making pasta probably for the week because my mother is very dear to me. Bought me some mince, which goes out of date quite soon, so I have to make use of it. Drain this tap. So I'm sick of wasting food. So yeah, so I'll be making mince. I think I'm just gonna leave the camera here, to be honest with you, and just see how it goes. I am a world-class chef, it has to be noted. I'm going to turn on the wrong hob first of all. So I'm recording this, I think it's the 18th of January 2026. I've actually recorded a good few videos about Liverpool already and just never released them. Probably because they're not good. They're also, it's just like, I like just kind of trying to just, I guess, talk to the camera and get used to just making videos. But also, like, I don't know how apt they were or applicable, or I don't like to pile pressure on the people who are already under pressure, mainly the manager. Hope that wasn't too loud. So there's a few things I want to talk about. Obviously, this is coming after the 1-1 draw with Burnley. Wasn't great. I didn't actually think it was the worst of the matches so far this season, or even on this unbeaten run. It seems to have been a tipping point for some other people though. I know there are boos at Anfield, rare enough, I'd imagine. And I think they were shouting attack. That's like, I think United fans used to do that when Van Gaal was the manager. The English fans obviously don't really mess with the Dutch style of football, it seems like, anyway. That's pretty, just because it happened twice doesn't necessarily mean that's true. Fuck's sake. Bit of plastic still left in the mince. Let's wash my hands again, that's great. Yeah, basically, it's not great. And it's I don't want to be an I told you so guy, because especially to an audience that have never seen me talk about it before, they're gonna be like, first of all, I don't believe you, but second of all, okay, I just have never, maybe not never, but for a long time, kind of haven't warmed to this style of football. Haven't particularly enjoyed it. Maybe ever, but certainly in 2025. From the match to slot references actually all the time, the PSG game. And then the Newcastle final in the League Cup on the weekend after. So I think the PSG game was like the Tuesday or the Wednesday, lose on penalties, and then Newcastle's on Saturday or Sunday, lose in regular time, just 2-1, but like completely just kind of destroyed in both games. There was so since then my eyes kind of were opened, probably a lot of people's were. And then I was worried about the end of the season after that. Liverpool pretty much won the league because Arsenal and City were quite poor. Wasn't that they were amazing? Like, they finished the season with 84 points, and I know they took the last kind of few weeks off, but like, I pretty much crawled to the finish line. I can see some comparisons with Arsenal this year, actually. Like, Arsenal really should win it. There's no reason why they shouldn't win it, apart from like they just completely throw it away. But Liverpool had a bit of that last year, where they would draw games, but just nobody would capitalise. But they didn't really lose too many, so they were definitely a good team. And Slot did a good job last year, absolutely did a good job. But I actually did a data journalism assignment on this, so I was kind of looking at his first season and Klopp's last season, because the team is quite similar. The players that were gone from Klopp's last season that were present in Slot's first season, that played the first 10 minutes, were like, most of them like retired. Well, not most of them, but Matip played the most minutes that wasn't there. He retired due to injury. Thiago retired, but he played like 13 minutes against Arsenal once, and that was it. And then Ben Doak, Bišćetic, and maybe somebody else. But it was practically the same team. Like, Chiesa comes in, but he barely plays. I think he had 0 starts actually last year. Maybe he got 1 at the end, but like, he got his 5 Premier League appearances, like 2 or 3 of them when Liverpool had already won the league. So basically it's a lot of the same team from the 2 seasons, and the team that Klopp managed came 3rd, but got 82 points. And Slot comes in, manages the team, comes first, but with 84 points. It's only 2 points of a difference. Like, it's still great. Like it'd be very easy for the level to just completely drop, but they didn't. He did a good job, and it kind of goes to a thing now, how unlucky Klopp is, or maybe it's just the way it is. Like, Klopp's 82-point team would have won the league the next year by like 5 or 6 points, maybe even 7. I think Arsenal got like 75 or 77 points, maybe. I'm not sure. Like, but like, there wasn't a real challenger in 24-25 for Slot. And there's some more stats that I got off the Premier League website for the assignment. In both seasons, they had the exact same goal difference, and the exact same goals scored and conceded. I think it's 86 and 41, if my memory is correct. But Slot's team had less crosses, less shots, or fewer crosses, fewer shots. They had more penalties scored. They got 9 penalties both season. In the league, Slot's team scored 9 out of 9. Klopp's team scored 6 out of 9. But I go back to a couple of controversial decisions in Klopp's last season, and to be honest, like, the team faded away. They ran out of energy, and it was kind of a bit of a mess from like March onwards for Klopp's team. But there were some bad decisions given against them, like Luis Diaz's offside against Spurs. That was a crazy bad decision. That's like an objectively bad decision. I know every team gets bad decisions given against them, but that one was a horrible one. Then there was Odegaard's handball against Arsenal, and Doku kicking McAllister in the chest against City, both games at Anfield, and like, they're against title rivals. So if Liverpool get penalties and score them, then like, it not only gives them more points, but it takes away City and Arsenal's points, creates a tighter league finish, and they mightn't have won the league anyway. But like it would have been close, and it would have. You never know what could have happened. But Klopp's team would have finished with more points, even if they get a draw against Spurs, the Luis Diaz decision. It's 83 points. It's only 1 point different from a title-winning team who finished 2 points or 2 places above you. It's a bit like, no one's really looking at that because they're looking at his achievement, Slot's achievement of coming in, and well, I'm saying nobody's looking at it. I'm sure there's loads of people that are looking at it, but it's like seen as like a great achievement, and it is a great achievement of a man coming in and just keeping the level and raising it in some regards, as opposed to like the season before, slightly underachieving. So it's like, is this squad kind of like that squad is like a extremely average 83 point squad. It won't stay like that forever. Like, you can't keep same players forever, but what was I going to say? Damn it. This is I have to get better at this, remembering what I was going to say, because I don't have a script. Oh yes, sorry. Slot did some brilliant things in his first season. So, sorry, I'm getting, what am I on? I'm getting tomato sauce. Not tomato sauce. Tomato, like chopped tomatoes. What am I doing? What? These. So Slot did some great things in his first year that turned Liverpool into 82 points to 84 points. So the most obvious one is Salah, who was unbelievable in Slot's title-winning season. Utterly, ridiculously good. I think it was 28 goals, 17 assists, or 29 goals, 18 assists, something like that. Record-breaking anyway in terms of goals and assists. So he got the best attacking season ever out of a player. I'm not sure if I need this, but put it a bit so the thing doesn't get too dry. And then Gravenberch turned him into a young player of the year, and I think top 3 players in the league last year. But anyway, best central defensive midfielder in the league by a distance. Just even turning him into a central defensive midfielder. Klopp didn't really use him at all. And like, he wasn't amazing when he played in 23-24 because I think he had 2 years of not really playing at Ajax and Bayern. So his development had kind of stalled for a little while. But he turned into an unbelievable player under Slot. Okay. Never really cook pasta this way. I usually do it a different way. So I'm gonna just see how this kind of goes. It might be awful. So, Salah, Gravenberch, massive improvements. And then there's the kind of philosophy implementation, which is just kind of keep things safe. So I remember there was a thing about no back heels in training, or like in a rondo, I think I read that correctly. That could be not true, but but the general kind of emphasis was on just like, you don't have to play the dangerous pass, just do the simple pass, keep it ticking, and we'll be better than the other team. And it worked. Because in Klopp's last year, I think they went behind 17 times in the league or something like that. It was absolutely crazy. It was mental to watch because they just kept coming back, except towards the end when they didn't. They kind of just ran out of steam, or maybe they're kind of just a bit tactically deficient. Not really sure. It could be a bit of both. So implementation of Gravenberch in the 6, Salah's best output season ever, and then the philosophy of just more safe, more stable, got them to win the league. But all of that only got 2 extra points than the year before. Is that really a massive indicator of progress and change? I'm not really sure. There's also another thing that I've only noticed in the last few weeks, really, and it is the use of Alisson in goal. There's been seasons where Alisson's played in goal for Liverpool and he's made some utterly ridiculous saves. And I think at the time I thought, Jesus, this kind of really risky play where Liverpool would concede like one-on-ones from like 50 yards and Alisson would just like save like 7 out of 10 of them. It was just mental. But Slot said something in his first pre-season. Now, listen, people say things all the time. I'm a bit like, take things that people say with a grain of salt, like, but is it a grain of salt or a pinch of salt, whatever. But he said, ideally, he's only there to just pass the ball out of the back. So it's just like he's just the guy who gets the play going or whatever, like, you know, takes the kickouts, which is, you know, like, it's crazy confidence to just assume that you'll never have to use your goalkeeper. But there is a thing that has kind of been resurfacing, or not resurfacing, but like it's people are saying a lot. It's like, oh, teams are scoring from one chance or whatever, and like we're limiting the opposition to like a low amount of chances. But they're scoring from them. And there's a really good goalkeeper in goal for Liverpool. And I just think it's not really making the best use out of him. Like, I think you could play a bit more like kamikaze, a bit more attacking, because you have him there in goal. And Kelleher was the same. Honestly, Kelleher has grown into being an amazing goalkeeper. He really has it. And I'm very annoyed that he's gone. But onto that later. Yeah, I just don't think like Liverpool use Alisson's unbelievable goalkeeping ability enough. Like anybody could be in goal, I think. It's just like, what's the point of having the best goalkeeper in the world? Which kind of segues, I would say nicely, but I hinted at it a minute before, onto my next point is the summer. Last summer of 2025, Liverpool's busiest summer probably ever. Some amount of outgoings and incomings. And before I say anything more, it's obviously, I can't even describe how much the effect of losing Diogo Jota. I don't mean losing him as a player, although that obviously does have an impact as well. But just losing his life, you know, losing him as a man. You know, he'd recently just gotten married. Just horrible. It really is a horrible thing, and it's really like the effect that must have on everybody in there. And like, people always reference the players that it has an effect on, but I'm sure it has an effect on Slot as well, and the staff and everybody. Probably the guys upstairs as well. I'm sure it affects them. I know we like to think of them as cold-blooded numbers men, but like they're human beings as well. But it's just horrible. It really is horrible. But away from Jota, the summer was crazy in its own right. So many outgoings, so many incomings. And I think this thing I'm saying about, like, it doesn't matter the way Liverpool played, Alisson, Becker's in goal. It doesn't matter. It's almost like a reflection of what's kind of gone wrong in my eyes. Now, this might be completely wrong, and it's early days for all these players and the way it's, and for what their careers can be at Liverpool, but having superstars and unbelievable talents and brilliant players in your team in most positions, I don't think is necessary. I'm going to be honest. So, like, having like a superstar goalkeeper, but they don't actually use him correctly, and then you get a superstar number 9 in Isak, and then you get a superstar 10 in Wirtz, and you get the best upcoming left back in the league in Kirkes, and there are already superstars in Salah and Van Dijk, and you get like Gravenberch and McAllister and Szoboszlai kind of turning into them a little bit. You know, it's like I'm not sure if I'm articulating this point well, but basically the idea is, for me, that I just don't think it's necessary to have all these superstars. I know they're class, individually class. I would never say that Isak isn't a good footballer, or Wirtz isn't a good footballer, or Kirkes isn't a good footballer, or Frimpong, or Ekitike, but it's like, was, like I was saying, an 83 average point season team. I don't know if this was necessary. Like this, like some of it, yes, absolutely, but not everything. And so much this way, so much that way. And then the people here, it must be like, oh, it's hello, goodbye. Like, that's a bit like, and I understand it's a business. It's not like your local team or whatever, but like, I don't know. I just kind of miss a lot of the players. Like, I miss Kelleher a lot because I'm Irish, and I think he's brilliant. I honestly really think he's a brilliant goalkeeper. And yeah, a lot of them gone as well. I miss Darwin as well. I really miss Nunes. I know he missed sitters and his finishing was really bad sometimes, but I actually think he's a brilliant player. I really do. I love his energy. I really do like his energy. His speed, his pace, his ability to create chances for himself, his movement, his selflessness. I think he's a good guy. His willingness to fight. I think all of those things are positive. I know he missed some sitters, but I think he was a good player, and I think my team, if I was a manager, I would have him in it. That's just what I like. I really like those kind of players. He just got me going. I don't know what it was. Like, it just straight away just got me going. I was like, oh, this guy is just fun, and just it's just such fun to watch. I just miss him. I really miss him. I think about him a lot. It's kind of crazy. I miss him. I miss Kelleher. I miss Elliott. I miss Tyler Morton. Kwanzaa as well. I like Diaz as well. I think Diaz is a brilliant footballer. I really do. I think he's so talented. Works like a dog as well, and he's kind of getting his rewards over at Bayern because the German league is like a bit. Attackers get more space, and if you're good, you can really show what you can do. So like, that's my ethos of, like, that's what I like. I love that aggression. I love creating chances. Even if somebody doesn't finish it, if you did the right thing, that's fine. That's up to the guy to not miss it the next time. And I think the team was quite good the way it was. And I think adding some people in, like adding Vert and Ekitike, yes, absolutely yes. The Isak thing, I just think is just unnecessary. Even though I like him, I think he's class. But like, unless the plan is like those two, and then Vert here, and then like Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, maybe. But I think McAllister seems to not be enjoying it as well. So yeah, it's just not been good. I don't like it. I don't like the way we play, and I don't like to do this, but I really don't like the way Gakpo plays. I really haven't warmed to his style of football. I would much prefer a Darwin Núñez, or I don't want to say Darwin Núñez. I much prefer Darwin to Cody Gakpo. I just don't like the way he plays. I don't like the cutting in on the right foot all the time. I don't like the overlapping fullback. I don't like the not using his physicality. I think he's technically good, and he's a good, he's good technique, and he's good striking, and he knows how to get into the box, score like a lot of tap-ins and stuff. But it's just not for me. He doesn't get me off my seat ever. So I would prefer, yeah, I just don't really mess with the summer transfer window. It just doesn't do it for me. By the way, I put the mince in with the tomato sauce. And now it's in together. I'll put on pasta in a few minutes. That's kind of a lot of it, really. I just missed the aggression. I just missed to just fuck it and just go. Just go, go, go. I don't care. Just go, attack and put somebody under pressure. I just don't like the way we play. They play. I'm not playing. It's not me. What am I doing? I want this here. I'll fill up the water for pasta. Actually, I do have some examples of this. There was a game Liverpool played against Southampton away. I think this game has been famous now because Salah has come out, and that was the game Salah came out and asked about his contract and stuff like that, to the mix zone. But in that game, I hope I'm correct now, but in that game, Liverpool have an attack, and they have the ball and they're probing, and they're probing and they're probing and they're probing. Does this fit? And they're at Southampton's goal, and then they keep having the ball and they're at the edge of the box, and they're in their half, and they're around the edge of the centre circle. Then they're at the halfway line, and they still have the ball, and it's been like a minute and a half, and then they're back in their own half, and I think Robertson makes a mistake, and they go through, and he gives away a penalty. I think that's correct. I remember looking at it and just being struck by, I don't think, now Slot mightn't agree with this as well, but to me, that's not really control. I know you have the ball, but just going backwards slowly, the other team's going to clock, okay, they're not going to go forward, they're going to keep the ball, they're going to do the simple pass over and over again. So we don't have to worry about what's back here or what's back here. We'll just push up with you. They're not going to go over there. They're just going slowly back, and then just mistake comes. Penalty. I think Kelleher saves it, and then they score the rebound. I think that's from the same move. But like that's, I guess, an example of me not liking the style of play. There's another issue I think is with Slot not getting the best out of a lot of players. Like I mentioned that with Alisson in goal, but then there's a big thing with attackers and particularly strikers. Like a lot of the goals came from the wing position last season when they won the league. But the strikers had terrible seasons. Like Diaz did well in that one game against Bayern Leverkusen in the Champions League. He got a hat-trick. But I remember like lots of like quite abject performances, and I didn't really I couldn't really understand it at the time. People were really questioning it, and they were saying like Slot isn't telling the striker not to touch the ball and not score any goals. But I'm quite curious because lots of people played up front last year. Diaz, Jota, Gakpo, Nunez were all the strikers who played up front last year. Diaz and Gakpo are primarily wingers, but they played up front, and I don't remember them tearing it up at any point. Like, I don't know how to find the stats of what percentage of the goals Diaz and Gakpo scored when they were up front last year versus when they were on the left wing. But I looked, and Jota and Nunez. Jota had 6 goals in the league last year, and Nunez had 5. Like, and all 4 of those players are different to each other. You wouldn't say that they're similar style players to each other at all. So I was like, is this a player quality issue? But then this year they brought in Ekitike. Chiesa has played up front this year as well, and Isak. And Isak has looked very much off it, and part of it is probably because he's not fit, but I'm sure he was fit towards the end when he got his unfortunate leg break. But to me, pretty much only Ekitike has stood out as a striker under Slot. And that's not great. And if we go to just attackers in general, I think only Salah and Ekitike have really stood out under Slot. Like Chiesa is barely featured. Elliott, no as well. Wirtz took ages to get going, and he's starting to get going now. He's starting to cook. He's very good. I'm a big fan. But like, yeah, Salah this year. Oh, I actually kind of I kind of stick up for Salah this year, to be honest, because I was in a similar situation before myself. I don't even play football, but I play hurling. But I remember there's once I was on a team and I wasn't enjoying it. It was a few years ago, and I didn't really like the managers, what they were doing. I didn't like the tactics. I didn't like training, and I wasn't enjoying the matches either. I was moved from a position I really liked to another position that I wasn't really fond of, and like I had fewer responsibilities, and I was kind of getting the focus was moved away from me, I think, and the team were going in a different direction, and I just wasn't happy. Like I was moaning and training, and I just didn't enjoy it. And it was a second group game of the championship, and they had like this training, this kind of like light training before where they announced the team, and I wasn't in the team. I was dropped for me and somebody else was obviously dropped as well. We won the game before, comfortably by the way. Me and somebody else, I don't know who it was, were dropped for this young guy who was playing at the underage division but was playing really well, so he was eligible to play up. And another guy who was on the team previously but had been travelling for months. And I'm good friends with that guy, so I didn't, I don't hold it against him or anything like that. But yeah, the management announced the team. I don't really think they've ever done that before, actually, as well. I think it was like to make a point, but it was like, if anyone's upset for not playing, don't say it to us. You can be angry if you want, but show us why we were wrong. And I was like, how bloody dare you? I am angry, but I'm right to be angry. You can feck off. So I just left. I'd never done that before, but I just didn't go to the match. I just didn't turn up. And nobody texted me really or anything. My cousin was on the team and he texted me, but he actually agreed with the management, which was great. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting the pasta. Rigatoni, they're like thick penne, should be good. So yeah, like I had friends on that team and it was just like, I think they were kind of just glad to be rid of me, especially the management. And they ended up winning the whole championship. I was bloody raging. Honestly, I did not want them to win it. I wanted them to lose, and that's terrible. I have family on that team, or friends on that team. I didn't give a shit. I wanted them to lose. And I can kind of see, like, I know Salah's situation is different. There's different parts of it, but I don't know if the crux of it is the same, but I can see elements of it in my situation with Salah. And I thought Carrier was talking out of his hole, to be honest. I waffling. I really don't like him, like the way he speaks about people. That is, some of those comments are very mean. The Egypt stuff and the Chelsea stuff were bloody nasty, I think, and I just don't agree with it. I need a knife or scissors. I have a scissors. So I like, some of the stuff Salah was saying was obviously not correct, but you're never going to be correct in these kind of emotional situations. And you know what, when this story was coming out, there was obviously all these reports coming out. It was like, how long do I have to do this for? 12 minutes. Okay. There are all these reports coming out about like, Salah went back, had a shower, came back 15 minutes later, he had a smile on his face. So it was cold, calculated. But 15 minutes is not enough time to calm down that situation. I'm going to be very honest. Like, I'm still quite upset about that situation happening to me. And that was like 5 years ago. But I can just see, I can see myself in Salah there. I can see him hurting and being upset. And like, a lot of people, well, not people, a lot of what I see in Salah has been coming for a while. Like, last season he was the best player in the league by a distance. He was amazing. He nearly won the league by himself. It's a team game and everything. And he can't pass the ball to nobody, and then nobody scores, and nobody passes the ball to him. He scores, whatever. But he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. He has magic about him. But then the summer happens and Jota passes, and he had the post about, it was the first time he was like afraid to go back to Liverpool. That's a very honest thing to say. And then he had the other post when some Liverpool fan account was talking about name a bigger upgrade or whatever from Diaz and Nunes to Wirtz and Isak, and he said, like, can we stop disrespecting the champions while welcoming the new signings? And then the first game of the season, he scores the goal against Bournemouth, and he's just in tears at the end of the match. And then he scores the winning penalty against Burnley a few weeks later, and he's in tears again. So he's been very upset this year. And I think people could do with remembering that. And he was being a baby, and he probably was wrong. And he makes a lot of money. And he hasn't been that good this year. But he has not been the only one that's been that good this year. And I think there's a bit of something wrong when you expect somebody to be unreal again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And that's part of the ego of these superstars. They probably can't allow themselves to not be unreal. But as a fan, as a coach, as a pundit, as anybody who's watching it, I don't know how you watch a team game and expect that one guy to just do it again and do it again and do it again and do it again and do it again. And I just think that's completely unrealistic. I don't know anybody who does that ever. Even Messi loses loads of matches, you know, like it just, I think it's silly. And he has my support anyway. And I'm not really sure what's going to happen now with Slot. I don't know how long he has. I don't know if he's going to get sacked. I don't know if he's going to keep the job. I don't really want him to lose a job or anything. I think he's like a good guy, and I often agree with a lot of stuff he says. He seems like a nice man, I think. But although I wouldn't like to go to Ibiza, and that's not really my cup of tea. Ocean Beach at Wayne Lineker is not the vibe I'd be looking for to celebrate, if I'm honest. But like anyway, footballers. I just don't rock with him, I guess, as much as I rocked with Jurgen. And that's not his fault. It's not. It's just he's being who he is, and I'd want him to be who he is. I wouldn't want him to be somebody else. Fuck that. But it's not. It's just not for me. Like, if he gets sacked, it probably because I guess his philosophy hasn't worked. And his philosophy kind of doesn't align with mine, really. Cody Gakpo doesn't align with my philosophy. Not attacking doesn't align with my philosophy. Like, he does attack, in fairness, but like, I want panic, I want aggression, I want mayhem a bit, to be honest. I think that's so entertaining. But yeah, I wish him all the best, but I wish Liverpool all the best, I guess. Sometimes it's weird, they're such a global thing. Like, you kind of feel so small when you support a massive football club. Like, there's so many bits. It's not just slotting the 11 players, all these sponsorships, all the merchandise, all the corporations. You know, is there any sort of morality at all involved with endorsing such a massive corporate institution, financial behemoth, just because I like the sport? It's not even my favourite sport. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. But I just wanted to talk about it, get my feelings out, I guess. Not that my feelings matter, not that anyone's going to sit through 46 minutes of this. Oh my goodness. But yeah, just wanted to talk about it. Yeah, pass is nearly ready. People are ringing me. My girlfriend's coming back. My dad was ringing me. So I'm probably going to have to skedaddle. But yeah, thank you for watching and listening if you have. I don't know if I'm even focus or anything. I'm just filming on my phone. Didn't use a camera or anything. But yeah. Alright, goodbye. YNWA. It's weird to sign off a video with that. You know, people sign off tweets with that and it looks alright, but when you say it in real life, it sounds a bit funny. It's like, what? Yeah. Anyway, right. If you watched this, thank you and have a good day or night or... Yeah, they're the only two, aren't they? Yeah, right. If you haven't watched this, best of luck to you as well. Right, see you later. Goodbye. Bye. Oh yeah, I forgot. I ate the pasta. It clean plate. It was okay. Okay. So all my talk, right, giving it about Liverpool, and I can't make brilliant pasta. I can make not bad pasta, not bad. It was a bit too al dente. Sauce, I needed to leave it in for longer, I think. It was okay. I ate it, and I think I won't be sick. That will probably do. So anyway, it's probably a lot harder to run Liverpool than to make pasta. So, you know, Mike, I'm not all knowing. Not that you thought I was. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, I thought I'd add the pasta bit because I didn't finish off the cooking. Yep. My hand gestures are also outside of the frame. Well done, Morgan. Well done. Okay. The same sentiment stands from the previous ending of the video. Thank you and have a good day and night and all the rest of it. I think I said have a good day or night. Why don't you have both? Why don't you have both of those things, right? Unless you're going to hurt somebody. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm going to end it. All right, goodbye. Goodbye.